Good evening and welcome once again to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. My name is Ross Brierley. Glorious Goodwood is ticking along nicely. It wasn't quite as hot today, but we had a horse bounce back to form in fine fashion in the shape of Notable Speech, putting that Royal Ascot disappointment behind him. We had a bit of a copy and paste. Blink and you'll miss it in the Malcolm. There's Big Evs won it last year. Big Mojo won it this year for similar connections. Mick Appleby's having a right old time of it at Goodwood. And tomorrow we've got another chance for a horse to come off the back of a defeat at Royal Ascot and maybe land a big prize. Opera Singer, there's been a lot of talk about her when she finally steps up in trip. She's up against Emily Upjohn and plenty of other interesting horses as well, including, of course, this year's 1,000 guineas winner from Newmarket. So plenty of interest. Tomorrow we've got the Richmond Stakes as well, and then some big field at handicaps, and I'm sure a certain man to my left will be all over them like a rash. But if you're watching right now, like it, go on. A little bit of a thumbs up, for the stream. Feed the algorithm and get involved on the chat as well. Let's see who's saying hello. Who is out there? Toothpick Charlie, how are you? You were right about Sonny Liston, more like a 200 to 1 shot today. Disney account, Lee Richardson, Darren Walker, Stuart Etheridge, Mark Loads and Mike Boy. Again, this worked well earlier on in the year at Royal Ascot, didn't it? If you've got a nap for tomorrow, put it in capital letters in the chat and then a one-line reason why you're going to be back in it tomorrow. We'll try and squeeze as many of them in as possible. Disney account had Alan Oud at 5 to 1. No look otherwise. Well, the man to my left, I guess slightly similar comments to that, Paul Kealy. So far, you've had two-point win naps, and they've both gone in. Maybe you should just stick to tipping one horse a day.
Yeah, could be right, couldn't you? Yeah, I had a place, backed the wrong Appleby horse, obviously, for the Malcolm, but yeah, it's nice when the main bet goes in, and it doesn't happen that often. So two of those very nice, and it was a much bigger price. It was more than twice the price yesterday. So yeah, good start.
All good.
Ticking along nicely.
And both those winners, Segal and Alan Oud, Goodwood is one of those tracks that about a furlong and a half in, you can probably ask people, what do you think? And it's either I've got absolutely no chance or I think I'm going to win. There's very rarely any middle ground, is there?
Yeah, I always thought she was going to win there.
Yeah. What did you make of the rest of today? Was the drama in the Oak Tree Stakes? What did you make of that decision?
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I don't think it was straightforward. I think if you back here, you might be a little bit lucky there.
Yeah.
But some firms still do first past the post, don't they? So.
Well, I believe Coral do. I'll check that in a second. But.
Yeah. So it's cost them a lot of dough.
Yeah, it has.
So it was all good for the punters.
Yeah.
Notable Speech was excellent. Couldn't understand the drift on the 2-year-old winner, Kota de Qatar.
Yeah.
5 to 4 to 2 to 1, and then absolutely hacked up as well.
Yeah. No idea about that one.
She looked pretty good. I don't know what she beat, but I mean, she did look pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll go for some nice prizes later on in the year. Tom Segal, if you were a steward, would you have changed the form around in the Oak Tree Stakes?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think. I think we get much more clear-cut ones than that day in, day out. I thought it probably would have won the other one, but I'm not sure. I thought the winner went to the front very easily. It was one of those Goodwood races where sort of everything stopped in front. She got to the lead and then sort of pulled herself up a bit. So I thought she was the best filly. I thought it was really unlucky, really, that well, as Simon might tell us, if you back, so you probably get paid out as well. So you probably won't be too cross. But if you're in one of those bookies that didn't pay out, I would be fuming, I think.
Yeah.
I thought she was the best filly on the day by quite some way.
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? Again, the frustration people have is the lack of consistency. But also, like, if it was one person's decision, if it was just one, you had one person made the decision and you didn't agree with their opinion, fine. But every race that something like that happened, it was one person or one panel's decision, it'd be fine. But there's just so much that goes into it. And I was talking earlier, and should it really come down to whether a jockey's a better talker than the other? I don't know. It seems odd, doesn't it? It seems odd that what actually goes into it when it should be kind of an objective decision.
Yeah, I don't understand why they need the jockeys at all. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's simple. You get someone with a brain to have a look at these races and try and work them out. Now, that was a really difficult one. I'm not going to complain either way it's gone, really. Just thought it was a bit unlucky on the winner because I thought on the second, because I thought she was the best filly on the day. What did you make
of the Sussex Stakes, Tom? Obviously, again, yet another race where we thought, oh, where's the pace going to come from? And then 2 furlongs in, they're going a suicidal gallop out in front.
Yeah. I mean, we did mention that we thought Sonny Liston might do that. Didn't help him, did it? And certainly didn't help Henry Longfellow. But look, probably the best horse won anyway, didn't it? So I don't know. It was a good race, wasn't it? Well, I don't know. I just don't know. I think he's a very good horse.
Yeah.
Who does a lot right. He settles really well, doesn't he? And he quickens up really well. So he's always going to be a factor in those big races. So I just think, for some unknown reason, Charlie Appleby's horses went AWOL at Royal Ascot, didn't they? They all did. Al Qudra or whatever it was called, and came back and won. You know what I mean? Some of them ran okay, but a lot of them went AWOL. So I don't know. I thought it was a good race. I love the Sussex Stakes. Always have been my favourite race of the meeting. So look forward to that every year.
Yeah, like I said, the past few days, Al Qudra's won at Ascot, hasn't he? Silver Knot won at Saratoga the other day. Amori's City, notable speech. Yeah, Appleby is very much back to his best. Simon Clare joining us tonight. Simon, again, I don't know. Was it you must have been, on the one hand, thrilled that your representative Jim Crowley got the race in the Stewards, but then you probably had to pay out on both the winners, right?
Yeah, we did. I mean, look, I suppose we're lucky in this country that our rules tend to favour the result standing. You know, you have to do quite a lot wrong, or it's got to be quite clear that the interfered with horse would definitely have won. You know, that sort of. So it's kind of, you know, it's not you've been, you know, if a horse causes interference, he's disqualified, which it is in some other countries where it's sort of, you know, regardless of almost what the result would have been. But so we don't get that many overturned results. I thought there was the chase at Uttoxeter a few days ago, which was bonkers, and it was really hard to even understand how they'd decided to change the result. And I think that probably creates more rage in the trading rooms than today's. But I think today's probably did create. There was some, raised eyebrows. You know, it was a surprise. I didn't expect it to happen. I was there, and obviously pleased for Jim. You know, it does cost us a bit of money. It's not disastrous. It would be a lot worse in you know, sort of the big Group 1s. You know, the really big betting races. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. It was great for Jim. You know, obviously he came second yesterday in the opener on a well-fancied horse and felt that, you know, he thought he'd timed his run well enough, but in the end he didn't quite get there. You know, but he was trying quite a long way out to make his run. So I think it was probably one of those which just is easy in hindsight. But so he lucked out today in the first. You know, so good for him. But great day's racing. It's been very, very hot the last couple of days. You know, I mean, beautiful, but really hot. And, you know, but it's been a great start to the meeting, I think. I mean, Big Mojo, it's great to see him win for Mick Appleby in the same colours as Big Evs, who runs on Friday. Obviously, I'm excited to see him. And he could be another horse who might follow in the footsteps of Big Evs and head out to Del Mar in a few months' time. So we could have another documentary, the Series 2, Big Mojo this time, followed by the Coral team. That'll be an excuse to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see Big Mojo out there. Notable speech, I'm sure, will be suited by the conditions out in America as well. What have we got for tomorrow in terms of a price boost and offers up your sleeve, Simon?
Yeah, we got interesting ones today. Two hour-long ones for the show. The Striking Viking in the Richmond, I think he's an 11-8 chance to win it. He is 5-2 from 2-1 to win the Richmond by over a length. £50 max. We sometimes get a few people complaining that these these specials, when their price boosts are £10 max. Well, for this to win by over a length for the Striking Viking, it's £50 max, 5-2. And then Jan Bruegel, the horse that Tom Segal singled out as the one he was looking forward to seeing over the meeting in the Gordon Stakes. He's a 4-5 chance he's at the moment. Well, he's 11-4 from 9-4 to win the Gordon Stakes by over 2 lengths. And that's also £50 max till the end of the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. Right, we'll be getting stuck into the card very shortly indeed. But first, don't forget free bets on the app, including a special one for the week from Coral. So here we go. let's get going then, because we've got a bumper card of 8 races tomorrow at Glorious Goodwood, and don't forget, in about half an hour's time we've got the Galway Plate, and I know we're going to have to cut into the final few fences of that, because there's no way Keels and Tom will be able to answer any of my questions while they're watching that with an eye and a half. But let's start off in the opener, the Coral Kincham Handicap, where Palace Green has been backed into 9-2 favourite here. Midnight Gun is 5-1, Sisyphean is 13-2, Into Battle 15-2, 8-1 approval, and Blake Aragon Castle is 10-1, Watcher Matey is 12s, and then bigger the rest, and a few at bigger prices that would have a chance. Arabic Legends been running some good races. Aviemore won last time out. Per Contra's down in trip as well, so plenty in with chances here, but no huge surprise to see Palace Green be well supported, as Richard Hughes and Ossian Murphy, well drawn, and I imagine winning plenty of notebooks last time out at Ascot, repeatedly denied a run in the worst part of the track in what looked a good race. So one of those obvious horses, Keels, that everyone spotted and then probably thought, hey, that's that horse that got stopped at Ascot, and he's been quite well backed in the end.
Yeah, he has. You can understand why he's favourite. I mean, there's loads in here that could be a lot better than their marks, couldn't they? The one thing that I thought about this race when I first looked at it is every single one of the 14 runners has either led or pressed the leaders at least once in one of its last 4 starts. And
so this will be run at a crawl then, right?
Quite possibly, yeah. Because I mean, they're all gonna realise that, aren't they? They're all gonna know, but you just don't know. You don't know who's gonna try it. And I almost gave up on the race because I thought this could be really messy. But then I got sucked in because, for all that Palace Green looked really good, I just think Approval is a very good horse, and he did go too fast at Royal Ascot and faded away. But the time before, he absolutely destroyed a horse of John and Fady Gosden's. By 4 1/4 lengths. He's won twice since, and he'd now have to give Approval £4 if they ran in a handicap. And he went up to 90s at Royal Ascot. He's already been given back £2 for that run. I'd have certainly wanted another look at him before dropping him again, to be honest. So as long as he doesn't overdo it and they go too hard, but I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen, so I can't be confident, but I'm pretty sure it's a good horse.
Yeah, I mean, even never mind that. I mean, he beat a horse called Enrique Caruso, the other Gosden horse, by 20 lengths at Windsor. That one at Sandown off 82 the other day is 89. So he beat a horse. Granted, he was a 4-year-old, but by 20 lengths, he's now rated higher than him as well. So that handicap mark's clearly exploitable, isn't it?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, it's exploitable. Whether we can exploit it in a race if they all go hard, and he's one of them and does, is another matter.
Yeah, in which case he'll probably get beaten 20 lengths here and then come out and win at York or something when we've given up on him. Palace Green 9-2 favourite though, again, a fairly eye-catching track horse. But I do think that Hand of God race was a good one, Tom. But you've got plenty of horses with improvement to come up tin trip, albeit this race does tend to go slightly more to the horses who are proven at the trip than the ones who've got improvement stepping up. But obviously, Midnight Gun was favourite overnight, and he looks a nice horse as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Keels made the case there for Approval. I think you could cut and paste that for about 5 others. You know what I mean? I thought Into Battle was the same. You could make a real strong case for him being really well handicapped, couldn't you? On his London Gold Cup form, he got stopped. I mean, I've never seen a horse get in more trouble in a 5-runner race at Sandown than he did. He never saw daylight the whole way, I didn't think. So you could make a case for him. He's been gelded. Watcher Matey ran really well in the Britannia. Maybe the ground was a bit soft. I think he's crying out for a step trip. I think he'll love it. You've mentioned Palace Green, Midnight Gun. Sisyphean was good last time. I thought the handicap was quite harsh on him. I thought putting him up as much as he did. And Approval. Blake, if he handles the ground, don't know. I just thought it's one of those races where I fancied everything.
Yeah.
Went through and that's got a chance, that's got a chance, and I hate races like that. I like races where I don't fancy anything, not races where I do fancy everything. And so I gave this a swerve. But I would maybe side with Into Battle just because I like him. I like the run in the London Gold Cup. I liked his run at Sandown last time, and I think the gelding of him might help. And I think he'll like the fast ground too. But as I say, make a case for loads.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is one of those races, isn't it? Yeah, you go all the way down, you start to get to double figures, and you think, like I said, I thought Per Contra was a little bit interesting. He looked progressive, and then, Aviemore was really game at air, but he might, in fact, the two Highclere horses might take each other on up front. Mortlake, of course, Rafe Beckett for owners who always buy stayers. So yeah, wide open stuff, Simon. This it really is a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant card tomorrow. You've got obviously the big group race in the middle, which has some short price favourites, but some really competitive handicaps top and tail in the card, and we're betting 4 places each way. Like Tom was saying, there's plenty you could sort of make case for. Watcher Matey, Hugo Palmer, obviously we sponsor the yard. He says he felt that he found the trip in the Britannia just a bit too sharp, as he did at Newmarket last time out in a very good race actually on July Cup Day. Step up trip should suit him. I think he'll go well, obviously with. I think Ryan Moore's booked, isn't he, for Watcher Matey? I think is he? Yeah. Aragon Castle for the Mariscottis, friends obviously of mine and Steve-O's. I think he's going to really appreciate the step on the trip as well. He's been running very well over a mile. Won last time at Hamilton, up £6, but he looks a horse who's going to improve, I think, for the step up. And Andrew Balding's yard continues to all the horses running well, so I think he'll go well. And Blake, if he handles the ground, obviously Jim Crowley, hopeful of another good first race run, having had a second and a second turned into a first. Maybe he'll just win this without the need for the stewards tomorrow. But they'll probably be the 3 I'd shortlist with Watcher Matey, the one I'd probably tip.
Yeah, interesting.
Simon, I know which one thing that doesn't want Aragon Castle to win, and that's your liver, because you'll have so much champagne in that Mariscotti's pot. When that wins, we'll never see you again.
Well, we're also obviously sponsoring that race. I think it's the Coral Kinksem Handicap, which I can never remember. Is it named after some sort of Eastern European horse or something from memory? I can't remember. I'll have to research that.
It's named after the horse who won the most races back to back, a Hungarian racehorse from the late 1800s. I think it's 54 races. I think.
Ross Brierley. Now I know what I'm talking about tomorrow. Thank you.
There you go.
This is a conversation. But yeah, so we're sponsoring the yard. So of course, not only will we like freeloading with them if they win, we'll have a legitimate excuse to be there.
Yeah, there you go. And you can all go off to Hungary. To find I don't know. I'm sure he's got a statue somewhere. Surely. I was just looking to see if anyone's mad enough to nap in this race, and there are a few of you. So fair play to you. Keith Holt's Bryony nap in the first. Well handicapped. Alan King in the booking of Vincent Ho. Very big price Bryony. And we had one more as well. Stuart Etheridge, Palace Green. Plenty left in the tank at Royal Ascot, where he was denied a run on numerous occasions. He missed the bigger price though, unfortunately. So Palace Green is 92 favourite there at Goodwood. The Richmond Stakes is next. 9 of them then for this 6 furlong Group 2. And the Striking Viking is 11-8 favourite here. Tropical Storm 4-1. Billboard Star is 5-1. The Waco Kid is 8. Black Forza 10-1. King of Bears 12. Aparajo is 14-1. Big Cyril is 25-1. And the outsider of the bunch is Intrusively, who, to be fair, on his second to Amori City on debut, probably shouldn't be outsider of the bunch here in the Richmond Stakes, but that's because it's a very top-heavy market here, and the Striking Viking, who absolutely dotted up on York, beaten Tiger Mask, who came out and won next time out, and then went down fighting last time out at the Curragh, Tom. Again, the only problem is that I mean, the 2-year-old races so far this week have tended to go the way of the market, and obviously he sets a standard. There are improvers in here, but he does look like a bloody good horse.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the Moulcom didn't go quite to plan, did it, for punters with the Maiden thing? But yeah, he looked really good, didn't he, on his debut? He looked really good in France. The only thing you'd say, they were soft ground horses by Inns of Court, who liked soft ground himself. So whether he'll be quite as effective on fast ground, I don't know. He might be, but I don't think he's miles ahead of the others on form. I thought Tropical Storm obviously ran very well in the Norfolk, which has worked out well, and Wishful Jacket behind him that day. I thought maybe he had the advantage of being drawn in the right place that day. Don't know if he's going to love the step up. Everyone seems to think he'll love the step up trip. Not sure. I thought Billboard Star was quite a big price myself. Got Goodwood form, loves fast ground, split Whistle Jacket and the winner of the Vintage last time. I didn't see what wasn't to like about him, really. I was expecting him to be shorter than he was. So I'd be on Billboard Star. I also thought Black Forza had a chance for Michael O'Callaghan, who on the Moulcom here a few years ago with a 2-year-old. He's quite good with 2-year-olds. Cost a lot of money from the Breeze Up sales by a sire I don't know, Complexity, who's an American sire. Don't know much about him, but he cost a lot of money at the Breeze Up sales, and the horse he beat last time in a Fairy House Maiden, came out and won a Nursery by a long way in a very good time at the Curragh recently. So I think he's got some upside, but I don't know. I think Billboard Star's got as good a chance as any, and 5-1 will do for me.
Yeah, 37 horses came to this in the past 15 years from the July Stakes, 6 won, and another 12 placed as well. I mean, it's an obvious, stepping stone for this race. But I liked him on fast ground, Tom, at Newmarket, and he's a rare mix. Keels of a horse who travels well and finds plenty at the back end, and I think we hope Eve Johnson Autumn might have a good day tomorrow.
It's just a good piece of form, isn't it? I mean, what's his name? Whistlejacket was the second couple of sprinters heading to Ascot, wasn't it? And he may have found the ground too quick for him and at the trip there, but he won the July Stakes well. Billboard Star second. Al could just come out, he was third, come out and absolutely bolted up. It's a solid piece of form, isn't it? And like Tom, I associate horses by Inns Court with soft ground, and both of his runs have come on easy ground. So reason enough to take on. I think he'll still be there or thereabouts. I was going to say you wouldn't expect Midland Park to be selling horses that early because they're quite shrewd, aren't they? But God knows what Fan Racing paid for it. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Heck, you know what I mean?
If someone rang you up, you would say, "Come on, then, make me a silly offer," and if you get the silly offer, you take it, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what it is. So. And I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a great fan of switching yards mid-season and then going to a group race. I'm not sure that happens very often. No. I'll side with Tom here. I didn't put anything up in the paper because I wasn't that confident, but I think Billboard Star is a solid each-way bet. It's going to be in the first three, isn't he?
The striking market, by the way, Inns of Court, good to firm ground, 71 runners, 4 winners in the past 2 years. So that's a 6% strike rate, which is bad.
What's the easy ground?
Easy ground, let's have a look. Soft ground, 77 runners, 11 winners, 14% strike rate. 14%
is good.
Yeah, I mean, more than twice as good as he is on fast ground. That said, I mean, Invincible Army, Cody Bear, No Nay Never, your fast ground sires in this, according to the stats for the last couple of years. Other horses we probably should mention. I mean, again, you probably mentioned the Waco Kid here, Simon, because of the association with Hugo Palmer. But the Wolf Badenoch ran really well yesterday. I liked him at Newbury. He shaped well on debut behind King of Bears, who reopposes here today. But it was a cosy win last time out. There was 4 horses on his heels with a furlong to go, and Oshie Murphy looked around and thought, "I've got you," and he just lengthened quite nicely, I thought.
Yeah, listen, I think he's got an interesting chance. I was talking to Manor House Stables owner Michael Owen today, and he was saying how no one's really picked up on how well Hugo Palmer's been doing with his 2-year-olds this season. He's had 11 winners from 22 individual 2-year-olds have run, 11 have won. I think it's 12 winners from 64 in total. Wolf of Badenoch ran a very good race as the outside of the field on day one, and Hugo in his blog references that's given him some confidence. Although with about 4 to run, he was struggling in last place. He wasn't confident at that stage. But he's saying, what did he say about the Wacker Kid? You never know how he'll handle going to his better company until you try it, but everything he's shown us at home suggests he can cope with it. So hopefully he's capable of ruffling a few feathers. So I think he's hopeful of a good run from the Waco Kid. King of the Bears, Paul and Oliver Cole's 2-year-olds and horses generally have improved for the run, and he certainly did. And he beat a horse called Jetpacker, who I quite like as a big price in the Nursery later on. So it'll be interesting to see how he runs. And obviously I'll be cheering on Alice Haynes, who we sponsor with, and we sponsor the jockey Kieran Neal as well. They've got Big Cyril, who's a big price. I think he'll struggle. The other thing I would say, it's interesting that in the last 10 years, 6 favourites won out of 10, and the other price winners were 4 to 1, 7 to 2, 11 to 2. I think the last 3 favourites have won. It is a race which tends to focus on, to be won by the best horses or those at the front end of the market. And the Striking Vikings form does look guessed at. So bar the concerns about the ground, I think he probably looks quite solid. But I thought the Waco Kid maybe each way would be the one for me.
Okay, he's an 8 to 1 shot. Destiny Sounds has napped Billboard Star in this race, and plenty of other people like Billboard Star as well. Right, moving on then. We have a small but select field for the Gordon Stakes. Tends to be that way, doesn't it? But just the 5 of them. But Jan Bruegel is 4-5 odds on favourite here. Sayadati Sadati is 4-1. Bellum Justum is 5-1. Maiden is at 17-2, and Align the Stars at 14-1. Then so significantly more vowels in this race than there are horses. But Jan Bruegel is 4-5 favourite here. He's 2 from 2 at the Curragh, 1 on good ground, 1 on soft ground. Absolutely hacked up on debut on good ground, and he's on good to firm tomorrow for the first time. And of course, he's a bit of a monster. He's beautifully bred, Tom Segal. There is the question mark of going around Goodwood over a mile and a half on good to firm ground. It's going to be a bit of a different experience than he's had at the Curragh. And you've got, well, I mean, he's up against horses who've got tons more experience than him. Is that a concern, or do you think he's good enough to overcome it?
Well, of course it's a concern, and also he hasn't got the best form, has he? I mean, Sayadati Sadati, was he 5th in the Derby?
Yep.
You know, to me, he's got the best form, clearly, Sayadati Sadati. Oh, he's got so many vowels, you're right. So, look, I would back him a 4-5. I've been impressed with him, and he looked good last time, and he's definitely going to like a mile and a half, and he might end up being a ledger horse, but I don't back 4-5 horses at 4-5 that haven't got the best form. Oh, my fire alarm's going off. Bear with me.
Oh, hello.
I'm just about to burn down. Thanks, Joe. That's all right. I would back him.
It's your red hot tips, Tom.
Oh, he's on fire.
Very good. So I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't play in it because it's also Align the Stars. I don't think it's going to run. I'm told if he gets in the race on Saturday, that's the preferred route for him. So it might only be down to 4. So not even no second plate, no each way terms at all. So I don't know. I'd leave a race alone. I am very interested in Jan Bruegel as a horse because I think he's potentially, if he wins this, he'll be a ledger horse, won't he? That's where they'll be going, no doubt about it. He could easily be that. On form, though, Sayadati Sadati's better than him.
Yes, that is true. What's your favourite Jan Bruegel painting, Tom?
Now that's it. Is it? Let's see. Don't know. Forgive it. I've got so many, Ross. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Also, well, it depends whether you prefer the works of Jan Bruegel, the elder, or the younger. I guess it's the debate that has been dominating horse racing circles for many years. But anyway, Jan Bruegel is 4-5. Sayadati 4-1. I think Bellum Justum's got a chance as well on fast ground, hasn't he?
Yeah, I like him on fast ground. I mean, he's taken a step forward every time, hasn't he? That was, that's a fair enough run against JLB and King's Gambit, who's certainly ran very well at York afterwards. Yeah, so I mean, I would, I'd rather back Sayadati Sadati and Bellum Justum at 4s and 5s than back Jan Bruegel at evens.
Yeah.
When I think about him, yes, he's obviously got loads and loads of potential, but it's much faster ground than he's been on.
Yeah.
The dam wanted soft ground. The sire was a renowned sire. The dam sire was a renowned sire of soft ground horses. So it just worries me. If I'm betting at even money, which I don't do, which I wouldn't do very often, you want all the boxes ticked, don't you? And the ground's going to be an issue unless there's some, it's going to be a question mark unless they get the thunderstorms.
Yeah,
which look less likely now.
Can I ask you boys a question? Are you happy with Bellum Justum staying the trip?
I'm not sure. Is it going to be that much of an issue if it's a 4 and a field round Goodwood?
That's the question. I mean, I imagine Jan Bruegel's going to go on and try and, because he's a definite stayer, in my opinion, and try and make it a stamina test because he won't. I don't think he'd win if they just dawdle around and set it up for it. Bellum Justum's quite speedy, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought, and I kind of watched that. I think the key thing for me is the ground. I mean, did he get home in the Derby? Probably not. But it was good to soft ground. It was strongly run, and this is going to be very different. But his record on good and firmer, apart from his debut, I think it's 1-2, 1-3. And then what I liked is I watched that Hand of God race back last time out, Tom, and I thought, oh crikey, he's gone too quick here, and he just kept going. He wasn't. Yeah. They weren't closing on him. Well, the majority of them weren't closing. Obviously, JLB had kicked on and King's Gambit, but the ones that have been behind weren't closing on him. And King's Gambit's come out and run well. Al Musmat's come out and won. Caviar Heights, Portland, Sons and Lovers have all come out and improved their RPR. So I was a bit disappointed because of the rain. I was hoping JRB would go up against City of Troy in the Eclipse because I think that form looks pretty good. So it might not be a stamina test, Tom.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's just I just remember Oisin Murphy because you remember on ITV they have the jockeys come in and say how they run in the Derby, and he said totally didn't stay, getting back to 10 furlongs. That's what he said after the Derby. Now that there might have been more reasons for that, and this is a totally different race at a totally different course on totally different ground, and they probably won't go anywhere near as fast. But that's what he did say after the Derby. So that would be my only issue with him. Otherwise, I'd give him a massive chance. I don't know. I presume they're going to try and make the running as well and go pretty hard on Sayadati's. I'm going to say it again and get it. I'm going to butcher it again. I think they'll have to go hard on Sadati, won't they?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, like I said, you just never know, do you? You never know around Goodwood Keels. You don't until a furlong has been run and you go, well, that's
you can't.
I
mean, you never know any track these days, do you?
No. But anyway, okay. So you're going Dutch against the Flemish Painter. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very good.
All right, okay. So Sadati, and Bellum just before. We should mention Maiden, by the way. Then, just because it would be funny if Paul ran and he beat the other three that we talked about. He didn't get home at Ascot Keels.
Yeah, he didn't get home at Ascot. They seem confident that he's going to be more at home back at a mile and a half, and he has one here. So I mean, he's got his chance.
Yeah. Okay, so we could only have 4 runners by off time tomorrow. Simon, sorry, Tom.
Sorry, it'd be nice if Align the Stars does run, doesn't he? Because he will make the pace. He'll make it a strong test, wouldn't it? So I'm hoping he does run, and obviously then we'll get a proper race, and we won't have any problem.
Yeah, that is true. Although part of me does fancy Bellum Justin, so I hope he doesn't run. So it's not a strong pace. But it depends whether you're going with oh, that's a good race, or oh, that's a good winner, I guess. But Simon, Clare, what did you make of the Gordon Stakes tomorrow?
Yes, I'd probably keep it simple and go for the horse with the best form, Sadati. 5th in the Derby until you see something otherwise. At 4-1 looks good. I mean, I think it works out around 7-4 if you just want to back both Justin and Sadati level stakes. But it is going to, obviously, it's not a vintage Gordon. It doesn't look a vintage Gordon Stakes. Should point, just remind you, we've got that Jan Bruegel special, which is on the screen to win the race by over 2 lengths at 11 to 4 yet from 9 to 4. I'm squinting at the screen. I should know this. And actually, we've got a Ryan Moore special, so I'll mention it now, just because this is his best chance of the ITV race. It's 3-1 to ride 2 or more winners on ITV. He's got 4 rides. Jan Bruegel, obviously, got the second favourite. Marginal second favourite, Opera Singer in the next, the Nassau, and he's also got Watcher Matey in the first and the Wacko Kid in the second. So 4 ITV races. I think he's going to manage to get 2 winners from those 4, or more. Of course, it's 3-1 from 5-2, I think it was. So a Ryan Moore special.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. Let's move on to the feature of day 3 then, where Ryan Moore is riding what I think might actually be the second favourite, or a joint favourite, in fact. Opera Singer and Emily Upjohn are 9-4 joints here. Sparkling Plenty 7-2, El Malka 8-1, See the Fire 11s, 12-1 Stay Alert, 33-1 Lady Boba, Doha is 40-1. You've also got Lumiere Rock and Nova Cinder as well. So again, another top-heavy market where you've got a 3-year-old who's looked like she'd relish a step up in trip, and a 5-year-old who actually has a really good record over this trip, but has spent most of her career over further. You've then got Sparkling Plenty, who's a bit of a fly in the ointment, a Guineas winner up in trip as well. See the Fire, who obviously has been contesting some good races, and then even the horses at 33s and 40s have got rock solid form. They might not be Group 1 fillies yet, but again, I always think Group 1 fillies and mares Keels, 10 furlongs in particular, it's one of those sort of kind of mid-level distances that I wouldn't be surprised if anything happened in this. And often fillies and mares races, Group 3 to Group 1 isn't that much of a jump.
Well, that
anyway.
sort of opinion has obviously filtered its way through to the market, because both the market leaders were shorter than they are now last night.
Yeah.
And Opera Singer has been as low as 13-8, 6-4, I think. So she does look like she'll stay. There's no guarantees, though, is there?
No.
She's got 6 winning siblings. Not one of them won over further than a mile. So that interests me just enough to say, well, hang on a minute, it might look like it, but she might just be a little bit slow at a mile and not as good as we all thought she was. I think Emily Upjohn has the best form. I wasn't, I wanted to talk down that Pretty Polly form, but you can't really do so now, can you? Because obviously Blue Stockings come out and run, and I think she's the most likely winner. I do think there's some value against her though, and I don't really understand El Malka being that much bigger than Opera Singer. I know she was beaten a fair way by her in the coronation, but it didn't go that way. She looked like she was screaming out for an extra trip now. I think jockey and trainer both said after the Guineas she'll just get better when she goes further up in distance, and she is related to winners at 10 furlongs. Yeah. So I think she's got at least the same chance of Opera Singer staying, and probably a better chance of doing so.
Well, Yard are having a great week as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yard's flying. So I think she's the each way value in the race. I may also end up having a couple of quid on Cedar Fire just in case Ushery Murphy decides to make the run-in. I think there's a big prize in this filly when they realise that they just stop fighting her and let her get on with it.
Okay.
She's out of Arabian Queen, who used to pull hard and win races. She was out of Dubai. What's the name of her? I'm going to have to look for her now. Barsheba.
Yes.
Barsheba, who used to pull like a train and from the front and still win races. And Cedar Fire's best race as a 2-year-old, comfortably, was when third in the Fillies Mile when she went from the front. And I think one day when they wake up to that fact, she's going to win a decent prize. But while they fight her and ruin all her energy in the middle of the field, it's not going to work. But I do think she's up to winning a big prize.
Okay. I mean, there are other, like I said, others in here as well. Sparkling Plenty, like I said, is a bit of fine. I mean, in terms of trip-wise, Tom, past 15 years, horses stepping up for a mile, 15 runners and 2 winners. Horses who'd won at this trip, 13 runners, 2 winners. Horses who won over a mile and a half were stepping down, 49 runners, 9 winners. So far, it's very much goes the way of the horses who stay further and are dropping back. Is that probably because I would imagine a lot of the mile and a half races are normally better than the mile races, aren't they, for these kind of horses?
I don't know about that these days. I think the mile and a half races they used to be, definitely used to be. I'm not sure. I don't think anything stays anymore, which is why we have German breds winning King Georges every year. I personally, this is like the negative of the first race. I didn't fancy anything in this. I went through it and I thought there were reasons to take on everything. You've got Opera Singer Trip, Emily Upjohn, you just don't know what you're going to get. Sparkling Plenty is a bit of a nutter, but very talented. The Malka Trip, Cedar Fire, I would quite like her if she hadn't gone to the Eclipse in between. She's had quite a few races now in the same sort of time. Lady Bover, I didn't fancy that much. I came back down thinking that Stay Alert was going to run a big race here, just simply because she's a fast ground 10 furlong filly. Probably should have won a Group 1 over this trip in the Pretty Polly last year when she was wiped out by Via Sestina. And she's not far off these. I think she's second in on Racing Post ratings. And she hasn't had ever 10 furlongs on good ground since a 3-year-old when she was beaten by Nashwa, who went on to be a Group 1 filly herself at Newbury. Every time she runs, it pours with rain. And she hates it. She absolutely hates it. She was, I think, 8-1 or 7-1 to beat Emily Upjohn and Blue Stocking last time on ground she hates. And she was 25-1 not long ago to run again in a race where she's got everything in her favour. Literally, the first time for donkey's years, she has everything in her favour, bar the time when she absolutely pulverised the season. So I just thought, in a race where there were doubts about everything, I might throw a few quid on Stay Alert, just simply because she's good. She might not be quite as good as some of them, but she's not far off them on her best. And she has, first time, exactly the conditions she'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, yeah, nice. Stay Alert 12-1 then. I mean, like I said, there are others. Doha, is bred to win an Arc, and Rafe Beckett again. I mean, we said about Alan today. You put a filly in a race trained by Rafe Beckett, and she pretty much wins. Never mind upped in grade here. But the other one, I like the other Beckett horse. I really like those Haydock pieces of form. I think that your Tiffany's and your Queen of the Prides are going to go. They're the Yorkshire Oaks horses I'm going to be looking out for, and I think those races are really good. I think fast ground 10 furlongs is going to be absolutely perfect for her. I know she's got a bit to find off a mark of 105, but she's got a really good record on fast ground as well. I mean, she also won a listed race on soft ground. So she just never runs a bad race. I thought this might be perfect for her. I think she's 33-1 because she has to step up, Tom, and she'll probably run a big race and and get beaten by a better horse. But I like the back down in trip angle, and like I said, I like those Haydock runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, Keel's put the nail on the head. If Emily Upjohn is back to her best, she'll win this. I think she'll win this. Opera Singer, I just don't know how good the Coronation Stakes was. I know the winner was pretty good and came out, but it was I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just not that convinced. The time wasn't anything special. I don't know whether the 3-year-old fillies. I don't know. I just don't know. So I wanted to take on the top of the market, really. I get where you're coming from. I like Keels. Will probably end up throwing a few quid on See the Fire too, because she finished right next to El Malka in the Ascot race, didn't she? And I think she's definitely going to stay the trip. Well, we know she does stay the trip. El Malka, not so sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Simon, Clare, tell us what you make of the Nassau.
Yeah,
I can't actually. You can do anything with your face right now because I've changed the channel over for the Galway plate. We'll pick that up at the end. So it's currently your views on tomorrow's feature whilst they rattle around Galway.
Yeah, it's chat for about 3 minutes, will you?
I will be.
No, we'll get get your opinion on this race, and then we'll come back to it to wrap it up when we get the closing stages of this.
Yeah. No, listen, look, I think what's interesting in the last hour, Sparkling Plenty has been subject of probably quite sizable support. It was 5-1 freely available. It's now we're back to the 7-2, and that's caused the drift on Emily Upjohn and Opera Singer, who are 15-8 and 2-1, out to 9-4. Looking at her form, it's unusual for a French 3-year-old filly to run 6 times by this time of the year. She started out in February. I think she's bigger than 14-1, which won the Prix Diane, but all her form is on very soft ground, so completely different conditions tomorrow, but obviously owned by the Al Shakab team, who'd be hoping for a winner at their Qatar-sponsored Goodwood Festival. But I can't have her, really. Obviously, the guys have made cases. You've made cases for plenty of the outsiders, which suggests it's an open contest, despite the presence of those 2 high-rated horses at the front of the market. I'd probably actually almost keep it simple and back Emily Upjohn. I thought it was a return to form last time at the Curragh. Obviously, Blue Stocking has franked that form. I think there was question marks over whether Kieran Schumacher had gone too soon. I think it was probably harsh. The horse was travelling very well. And I think it'd be great if she could bounce back and win, because obviously she's a talented filly and she ran very well in last year's Coral Eclipse. It's always nice to see horses that come out of our big race maintaining their high level of performance. So, Emily Upjohn for me, but I think it's great that you've made case for so many of the outsiders. It makes it a much more entertaining and interesting race to watch when it goes off at 3:35 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good one, that's for sure. Now, Galway, how many fences have we got to jump? Let's cut in, because literally everyone on the chat's just said, lads, give us 2 minutes to watch the Galway plate. So it's Ashtree Meadow in front, being followed by Authorised Dart. On the outside of Authorised Dart is the favourite Percival Le Gaulois. Let's Go Chaps making ground as well with Pinkerton in behind. Pinkerton, we have Life in the Park. Life in the Park is jumping well, but here comes Authorised Dart to take it up. Authorised Dart, but Pinkerton's travelling well in behind. Zanna here's trying to make ground. Poor Kealy will be riding that one to finish, that's for sure. But Pinkerton is swinging along in the black and red silks for Noel Mead and Donna Myler. It's Pinkerton. Zanna here's making ground. He's going to stay on strongly at the end. Pinkerton, Zanna here. Coming out of the pack is Life in the Park. Who else has got a chance here? Dufflecoat on the far side. The Greys making ground as well, but it's Pinkerton from Zanna here.
Rag.
Pinkerton is finding plenty for pressure. Dufflecoat and Zanna here, but it's 1 for Noel Mead. Pinkerton wins. Dufflecoat, Zanna here, and back in 4th place. Life in the Park.
He's well handicapped. Zanna here cannot jump.
Yeah, he can't jump at all. But to be fair, Tom Segal told you.
Yeah, very true.
To win at Perth last time at about 5-1 in one of the worst races you'll ever see. He smashed into every fence or beat. It's just amazing jump racing.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, findable though. I mean, he's been winning races. He won at Punchestown early in the season. Did he in good fashion?
Absolutely. Very findable. And Noel Mead's very good at these races. He'll have that. Well, we'll talk about it later, but I would imagine he's also done very well in the Galway Hurdle tomorrow. Yeah.
And is that your favourite Weezer album as well, Tom? Pinkerton?
No. I much prefer the other one.
The blue one, the blue album, yeah?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one, yeah. Okay, just to summarise, what wins the Nassau? What will you be backing?
El Malka, and I will have a couple of quid to win on See the Fire as well.
Okay. Tom?
Well, I've had a few quid on Stay Alert at a big price. Okay,
fair enough. I'm going to have a couple of quid on Lady Boba at a big price as well. Simon?
Emily Upjohn for me. Go with the class act.
There you go, plenty of opinions. Opera Singer is very, very good, says Michael Saunders. So he thinks that she'll win the Arc and that 5 to 2 is a great price tomorrow. So there you go. And the Galway, crikey, 20 to 1, 25s, 13 to 2 and 20s. So good luck if well done if you got the TriCast there. Let's go to Goodwood then for the 410. We've got a cracking little nursery here. 7 furlongs the distance for this. 17 of them are running, and El Burhan is 4 to 1 favourite. Brighton Boys 5s. Fearless Freddy is 13 to 2. Fred on Fire is 17 to 2. Mr. Chaplin 10s. Original Outlaw 10s. Defence Missile 11s. Dukes of Hather is 11 to 1, and obviously there are loads in here with a chance at bigger prices. But El Burhan just keeps on winning, and this track should suit. The draw looks good as well. Yard and jockey in good nick. So, lot to like about the favourite, Keels. Not necessarily one you want to obviously take on, but there are obviously plenty of potential improvers with a handicap mark to go.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's been, if you win by a wide margin, you get a big handicap mark, don't you? And he's been winning. He might be better than a nursery horse in the long run. This was the race I was talking about yesterday, where I said only 9 of the last 40 horses to finish in the first 4 were drawn higher than 10. Yeah. 3 of those came in the same race on soft ground. So you do want, it is a big advantage to be drawn low.
Specifically, there's been no winner from a stall higher than 8th off the rail. Obviously, there's there's been box 10, but it wasn't box 10. It was so 8 and below so far. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So I was looking low, and. The one I came down to was Defence Missile, who's drawing a stall 2 for Eve Johnson Horton. I hope he'll run better than Eve Johnson Horton's Star of Orion did today. But he's run, I think he's run pretty well on all his starts. First time out at Newbury, and then chucked right in at the deep end of the Cheshire Stakes. Now, if Eve Johnson Horton thought he was worth running in the Cheshire Stakes, she must think he's going to be a better horse than an 80 horse. And I think he just went a little bit too hard at Salisbury last time, but again, that's got him his handicap mark.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a decent chance. Danny Tadop's got a 50% strike rate for the yard. I think he does normally ride these owners' horses, to be fair, but I think he'd go well. I mean, look, it's a wide open race, isn't it? Original Outlaw did peg him back and finish second to him that day, despite jumping the path and running green and all. I don't think he's the most straightforward, and they've stuck blinkers on him as well. So I would prefer Defence Missile of those 2. I thought Fearless Freddy could run well as well, but he's near the top of the market too.
Okay, yeah, Defence Missile 11 to 1. Yeah, and the horse that took him on for the lead was Megat, who was beaten 5 lengths and then came out and ran really well next time out. He's been given a mark of 75. He was 5 lengths behind Defence Missile, so that 80 looks pretty attractive, really. Should be a nice box in 2 if Danny Tudhope can get the fractions right, or at least play his cards at the right time. Big Field Nursery, Tom. Anything stand out to you in this?
I was interested in those draw stats because watching the 7 furlong handicap today, I know the winner was drawn low, but the next 2 were drawn really high, and I didn't think it was. I wouldn't have. I'm just watching that race. I wouldn't want to rule them out. High drawn horses, very.
No, I just wonder, Tom, if his inexperienced 2-year-olds makes it even harder.
Yeah, maybe that could easily be the case. Because otherwise, I would have given Brighton Boy a good chance. But he's drawn wide on the outside. His Salisbury run behind the Super Sprint winner was a good effort, I thought. And then he won easily at Chester last time. So I was going to give him a chance, but I think he's 17 or 18. Obviously, it's a negative. Fearless Freddy's got a chance, though, hasn't he? Good run at Bath, over 5.5 furlongs. Good form on fast ground, very fast ground at Bath, obviously. Went up markedly in trip at Leicester last time, won very easily. So he'd be my choice, but look, you can make it. If you don't have any affinity with the Johnson Horton stable, which Paul Keels obviously gets right day in, day out, I think it's really, really hard. My personal preference is for Fearless Freddy, is it? That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
William Granson, William Muirtles. Yeah. I'm getting confused with Fred on Fire without having my computer in front of me. So, Fearless Freddy would be my choice.
Okay, Fearless Freddy's a 13 to 2 shot then. Simon Clare, you're going to love this stat. You're going to absolutely love this stat. 15 horses have run in this race off the back of that very particular maiden at Epsom, the horse that you fancy. Jetpacker came out of.
Yeah.
6 of them have won.
Wow.
Mission to Moon has won. Bear Valley, Artificial, Aussie Reigns and Goldoni all had their last start in that one race at Epsom and then came and won this. Another one's placed as well. So 15 horses.
How do you do this stuff? This is brilliant.
I get bored and go down little rabbit holes, and sometimes it pays off. You should see the stats that I think might be there, and I waste time trying to find. But yeah, that race in particular has got a better record than any other race combined, pretty much.
So I like this horse. I was looking for a bit of value, and I noticed Richard Hannon won the race a couple of times. Obviously, he does well with his 2-year-olds. He's got plenty of horses. He's picked this one to run. 8 of the last 10 winners, you focus on the draw, but 8 of the last 10 winners have been drawn 4 to 6, as if like you don't necessarily want to be drawn totally low. And I know you know it's these stats and lies and whatever it is, down lies and statistics, what it's called. But and I thought his run the time before was a very good run behind Newbury behind King of Bears, and so now you've told me that's the race that throws up the winner, and he's 22 to 1. So Trainer's won the race a couple of times before, drawn beautifully. Comes from that race, he should be way shorter than 22 to 1 on that alone. So, yeah, I fancy him a lot. We've got 5 places each way on this, so that makes looking for a bit of value worthwhile. And obviously, Jim Crowley is on the favourite El Burhan, who's drawn 4, very good draw. And Jim Crowley thinks he's the one to beat. He's very bullish about his chance. He thinks he's going to stay a mile well. He'll love this 7, and he should go really well as well. So those are probably the 2 I single out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, again, that King of Bears and the Waco Kid are half the price for the group race earlier on than he is for this nursery. So Jetpacker would have to go into the mix as well. But Keels, you're going for
Defence Missile was the one I like the most.
Okay,
wide open.
I'll go for. I hope you're right. That one in Jetpacker for me. What about you, Tom?
Because I have an affinity with William Muir horses, they've been very lucky for me, so I'll go for Fearless Freddy. Okay,
thank you very much. Right, the 3 races left at Goodwood. Let's rattle through them then, starting off with the 4:45. A 5 furlong handicap here for the 3-year-old. 16 of them running. Kendall Roy is 4 to 1. Chagrin is 6 to 1. We Never Stop 15 to 2. Grand Lad is 8 to 1. Dorney Lake is 8 to 1. Noel Fox is 9s. McLovin 10s. Cloud King 11s. Again, loads of horses in here. Course and distance winning Enchanting, Well Bred, Unbreak My Heart. And I don't think there's many of them out there, but if you are in the Make It Easy fan club, do join me in backing this horse again, only to see it get stopped in its run or draw in the wrong place or rattle home too late for Nigel Tinkler. Can't wait for that one to finish 3rd or 4th and look unlucky. And we'll follow it off a cliff for another 6 months. Anyway, Keels, 5 furlongs, 3-year-olds. What did you make of it?
5 furlongs, 3-year-olds, yeah. Interesting. The favourites improved £31 this year already. Won 4 times, been second twice. They booked Ryan Moore, definite chance Kendall Roy, but I keep thinking Chagrin is going to explode into a really good 5 furlong horse at some point. He's done a fair bit of running over 6. He was 3rd to James Delight in that really good race at Newmarket. We know what James Delight's done since. He's been really good. He then went and he was 5th to Pilgrim and 5th to 28 to Pilgrim Palace of Hollywood House, and I thought didn't quite see it out, and I was very surprised they went back up to 6 furlong next time at Windsor, and he got smashed into 5 to 4 favouritism. He's a much bigger prize now, back at what I think is his correct trip. Mick Appleby knows his way around a 5 furlong sprinter or 2, doesn't he? He's put him in the Flying 5, a Group 1 at the Qatar in September. I mean, that's a complete waste of money if he's only 93.
Yeah,
fair. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to, I'm hoping that he will at some point explode into a really good 5 furlong sprinter, and he's the one for me.
Also helps that he's run 4 horses at Goodwood this week, and they finished first, 3rd and 2nd.
Oh, that does help too, doesn't it? Yeah.
Not bad at all, yeah. So Chagrin's got to have a chance as well. Over to you, Tom. Kendall Roy, your favourite Succession character, or?
No, not my favourite one, Ross. No, he's not my favourite one. I've got other favourites than him.
Too many to choose from.
Too many to choose from, Ross, yeah.
Just testing you culturally tonight, Tom, but what did you like in the sprint handicap?
You've got the wrong one on the Dutch painter, the bad.
All right, okay, let's try another one. McLovin, your favourite super bad character? I don't know. What else have we got?
Once again, funnily enough, as you well know, sprints aren't my thing. But the one thing that did shout out to me was the gamble on Chagrin in the Ascot Stakes, the Prince of Holyrood House, or whatever it's called. He was 33 to 1 in the morning, and he started 6 to 1, and there was a time in the day when he was 7 to 2. Someone somewhere thinks he is incredibly well handicapped. He didn't get the money that day. He might have got some of the each way money because I think he came 5th. But someone thinks he's very well handicapped. Mick Appleby clearly thinks he's very well handicapped. This is not a great race. So, like Kealy, he would do for me.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. And Tommy Daniel says if he owns a horse, he'd call it Tom Wamsgans instead of Kendall Roy. And Kendall Roy should be able to make it 2 in succession, says Ronnie Front. I mean, surely Cousin Greg is the best name for a horse out of succession. Anyway, Simon, what did you make of this race?
Very competitive. Again, the draw. I think 8 of the last 10 winners have been drawn between 5 and 9. Thought Noel Fox of those drawn in those positions probably looked the most interesting, but it was only a 3-run race at Lingfield last time. But the one I'm going to tip and mention, I can't remember who sung this song, Unbreak My Heart. You know, Ross, you must have done your research.
Yeah, Say You Love Me Again, yeah. Who did sing That Will Break Your Heart? It was Tony Braxton, of course.
Tony Braxton. Great stuff. But
You've
Jim
got the
Crowley's
quickest Google in history, Ross.
Yeah.
I swear he researches everything before the show, like Jan Brugge.
I do, to be fair, most of them I do, yeah. To be fair. I just think I'm just going to find out where Dorney Lake is while you tell me about this horse.
Well, Dorney Lake was in the Olympics 2012, wasn't it? That was where they did all the rowing.
Yep, yeah. It's privately owned by Eton College. So
yes.
There you go. So make of that what you will.
She's really interesting because this is her first run in a handicap company. Jim Crowley made the point. He rode her to be 4th in a listed race a couple of runs ago. She's got loads of great form in obviously listed company, Group 3 company. But she's been running on soft and good to soft this season quite well. But actually, she won on firm as a 2-year-old. So there's no reason, the fact that she's back on quick ground in handicap company, carrying top weight. I thought she was quite interesting. Drawn 12, probably not ideal, obviously, but it's an excuse also to mention the Jim Crowley special, which I omitted to mention with El Burhan earlier, because Jim Crowley is 6 to 4 to ride at least one winner tomorrow, having ridden a winner today and probably should have ridden a winner yesterday. He's got Blake in the first at 8 to 1. El Burhan is his best chance of 4, but he has 4 to 1. But he's got Break My Heart here, which he thinks will run well at a big price at 12s. And then he runs, we'll come to that, Rockstar Icon in the last for the Coral Racing Club. So okay. 6 to 4 to ride one winner or more.
Thank you very much. 2 more to go then. The 520 at Goodwood is a 7-furlong Fillies juvenile race, which, again, is sure to throw up a nice horse. You would imagine it's going to be the favourite, but she's a little bit weak in the market. But Dreamy is 13 to 8. Bouvier is 4 to 1. Stellenbosch is 11 to 2. Tap Dancer 9 to 1. French Haven 12s with Gaillard. Arabian Leopard is 16 to 1 with Tundra Rose, and it's bigger price as the rest. Tom Segal, quick thoughts on this one? I mean, she's half as good as a pedigree. Should be a very nice horse indeed. Will Dreamy?
Got to take her on, Ross. Got to take her on.
Yep.
First time out, Aidan O'Brien. I know she's very well bred, but I think one horse in the last 10 years has won this on their debut. It was a horse, Spirit of Bermuda. All the rest have come here after running in a maiden. I think, as far as I went back, that was what had happened. They'd all had one run, came and won this. Aidan O'Brien, she might be different class to them, she might, but I want a low draw and I want some experience. So Bouvier stands out to me. I thought she ran perfectly well on her debut at, where was it, Doncaster over 7. I think she stands out to me, and the danger might be Tap Dancer, who was a bit unlucky at Salisbury.
Yeah, out of that same race that we were saying earlier on, is a good one, a bit eye-catching, I thought.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me, and I had a look at it, and I seem to remember, and I can't back this up because I seem to remember Marcus Tregonin used to run some fairly decent horses and maidens at this meeting.
Yeah,
I'm sure he has done. I'm sure he has done in the past. So that could be very interesting. I mean, there were rumours going around that this Dreamy is very good. They haven't filtered their way through to the market though. She started off a lot shorter than she is, so we'll have to wait and see on that. I do also remember years and years ago when Nick Morden used to write for the Weekender. He used to come up with all sorts of systems and he said that horses running in maidens around sharp bends first time out had overall a dreadful record. Well, it's just
such a culture shock.
Yeah, because this is, this will be about 15 years ago the piece he wrote, at least. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see what she does, because there was lots of talk about her yesterday, but she doesn't seem to be that strong now.
No, she doesn't at all. But Bouvier, which of course is, amongst other things, the maiden name of Marge Simpson. There you go. So, don't know why I know that.
She's not my favourite Simpsons character, Ross.
No, fair enough. Who's your favourite tap dancer? No, never mind. Simon, Clare, tell us about this 5:20 before we get to last.
Listen, I think you got to take on Dreamy just on the basis he hasn't run, and Aidan O'Brien isn't. Horses don't necessarily run best first time out. Although Stellenbosch was quite solid, still showing signs of greenness last time out. Very well bred. I can't believe she won't be very there at the finish. So it's probably a sort of a cheeky each way bet at around maybe get 6-1 tomorrow. But Stellenbosch for me.
Okay. Last race on the Glorious Goodwood Thursday card then is a mile handicap here for the 3-year-olds. And there's the market. Treasure Time is 4-1. Kirat is 5-1. Westridge 6-1. Sir Gabriel 15-2. Bill's Bar 8-1. Mount Tidy 9-1. Jungle Mac 10s. EBT's Guard 11-1. And then bigger prices the rest. Before I wax lyrical about the ratio horse at favourite, Simon, I better hand it over to you for the Coral Racing Club horse.
Yeah, no, listen, it's generally a really exciting day tomorrow. We've been running the Coral Racing Club since November 22. We've started to have some decent success, both jump and flat, and Rockstar Icon has been a nice horse for us already. Finished 5th in a very competitive handicap on Guineas Day. Then actually had a bit of problem with equine hay fever. The pollen got into his trachea and his lungs, and so we had to back off him. But we've managed to get him here, and Oliver Cole is pretty confident. He was entered for the 7 furlong race yesterday, didn't get in it, but happy to step up to the mile here, and should go well. And we put Jim Crow in it, which is great. So we've got the Coral Ambassador. That's the first time Jim's ridden actually for the Coral Racing Club. So he'll be carrying the Coral Racing Club colours. And we've had 100 Coral Racing Club members at Goodwood each day in a special Sussex Stands roof lounge. And so it'll be a day to celebrate. And I think he can go well. I think he's probably going to maybe just need the run a little bit. But the market's been speaking in his favour. He's been back from 16s into 11. So maybe there is some confidence behind him. But so good. Looking forward to seeing him run. Sir Gabriel for the sponsored the Coral sponsored Alice Haynes Yard probably is the one which really stands out. You know, £6 well in after bolting up last time with Kieran O'Neill wearing the coral breeches. I'd like to see Sir Gabriel run really well. So those will be the two I will be cheering on tomorrow.
Okay, lovely stuff. Like I said, I think, if Rockstar Icon and Treasure Time do get past the post together, there'll be about 5,000 people, I think, cheering on a winner at Goodwood tomorrow. Some really good form lines here. Keels, what did you pick out? What's the
plenty of good form lines. I just thought for a horse that's run a career best on 4 of 5 starts this season, has not finished out of the frame and has stalled 3. EBT's Guard, I thought he was a fair enough price. I mean, it is a very hard race. But the last run at Ascot, he ended up running almost into the back of the horse that ended up winning it and had to be switched. He could mark him up a little bit for that. The runner-up came out and bolted up since, and would have is a non-runner today, Segal Bay or whatever, non-runner in that race. But he'd have been £7 worse off with EBT's Guard. I think he's got as good a chance as any in what is a ridiculously open race, obviously.
Yeah, it sure is. Tom, anything for you?
Well, I backed EBT's Garden last time at Ascot, as is my want, and watched him run up the back of someone Keels. That's the way it goes. He's definitely even the form before that's really good, I thought.
Yeah.
So I could see him running well. You know, the York form, Yarmouth form, Charming Whisper is a horse I like very much. He ran very well in the. I don't know what sort of riding.
The race behind Treasure Time, wasn't it? I think.
Race with Treasure Time. He dropped it. The rider dropped it whip, and he probably finished right on the heels of the leaders that day. So I like EBT's Garden. I also thought Westridge must have a chance for Gosdens. I know he's drawn a bit wide, but he wasn't supposed to win, I don't think, at Windsor last time, and he did. And he gave those races at Windsor we talked about earlier with approval. When you get on that rail on the inside, it's really hard to pick up horses. He did that last time when he wasn't supposed to be Roi de France. I think he'll go well. I think he might be well handicapped.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that box 10. I might have to take a chance with it because, he looked at how the hell, I agree, how the hell he made up all that ground at Windsor when the winner had kicked on, the second had kicked on, and the seconds kicked on and dotted up at Windsor next time out as well. I mean, if he's not a winner off 88, I don't know I don't know what is, but whether it's tomorrow or not. But anyway, so last race of the day tomorrow. Let's see if we've got any strong selections in the chat. Kirat and Cerulean Bay for Mike Boy, Sir Gabriel for Disney Account, and
Charlie, or whatever his name is. Has he come back with one?
What's that? Sorry.
Toothpick Charlie, or whatever
Toothpick
his name
Charlie. He's been quiet for a while. Maybe he might have backed Xana here and gone off in a huff. Who knows? But not too much else. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Borat's in the chat talking about Doncaster and Leeds and Sheffield. So I don't know. Maybe my dad set up a YouTube account under the name of Borat and is shouting things at me in the chat. Who knows? Anyway, let's wrap up the show with the naps after this.
We're into the final bend of the Coral Fan Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And watch this, he's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Reward Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
Naps of day 3 of Glorious Goodwood then, starting off with the man at home, Mr. Tom Segal.
the one in the last, West Bridge, was it?
Yeah, the Gosden horse.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Okay, Westridge in the last. Simon Clare?
I am going to go, after that amazing research you did, and I fancied it anyway, for a big price, Nap Jetpacker in the Nursery at 4:10.
Okay, lovely stuff. Mr. Paul Kealy?
I don't have anything as strong as the last 2 days, but I think I'm going to go Shagran, because if Mick Appleby thinks he's worth a Group 1 entry, then he's on a very low handicap mark.
Okay, fair enough. And I do think on fast ground, Bellum Justum's going to cause a bit of a surprise in the Gordon Stakes, so I'll go for him tomorrow. Anyway, same time tomorrow night. See you there, and have a good day 3 of Goodwood.